Guten Abend Europe and welcome to the Outside View Show UK. I'm your host and I'm coming to you from Germany, the land of efficiency where even our bureaucracy is organized alphabetically. But tonight we look across the English Channel, or as the British government currently calls it, the mode of sovereignty. And how is the UK doing? Well, it's the second week of January 2026. In Germany, we've already taken down our Christmas trees, recycled the glass, and filed the 2027 tax projections. In Britain, they are still trying to figure out if they can afford to turn the heating on without triggering a national debt crisis. And look at the weather. Storm Goretti hit the UK last week, 50 centimeters of snow in Scotland, minus 12 degrees in Norfolk. And do you know what happens in the UK when it snows? Everything stops. If 3 flakes land on a train track in Kent, the entire national rail network treats it like an alien invasion. And meanwhile, here in Germany, we just put on a slightly thicker scarf and complain that the snow isn't falling at the legally mandated angle of 45 degrees. But in Britain, it's Snowmageddon. It's the perfect metaphor for the government. Cold, slippery, and making everyone late for a future that was promised 10 years ago. And let's check in on Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. Last week, he held his first cabinet meeting of 2026, and his message to his ministers: keep your nerve. Keep your nerve. That's usually what a pilot says right before the engines fall off. And why is he nervous? Oh, just a small matter of the polls. A new MRP poll from More in Common dropped last week, and I'm not joking, it projects that if an election were held today, Nigel Farage's Reform UK would win a majority. Yeah, Reform at 381 seats, Labour at 85. Labour support hasn't just slumped, it has achieved a level of evaporation usually reserved for puddles in the Sahara. And Starmer told his cabinet, governments don't lose because polls don't go down. No, Keir, they lose because the voters have realized that change, your big slogan, apparently meant changing the person we are angry at every Tuesday. He's promising that 2026 is the year Britain turns the corner. But at this point, Britain has turned so many corners, it's basically just spinning in a circle in a Lidl parking lot. And then there's the international stage. Recently, Starmer had a phone call with President Donald Trump. Now, remember, Trump is currently busy capturing world leaders like their Pokemon. Nicolas Maduro and, of course, threatening to annex Greenland. And Starmer apparently told Trump, hands off Greenland. Bold move, Keir. I'm sure Trump, a man known for his deep respect for the territorial integrity of icy islands, was shaken to his core. And meanwhile, Science Secretary Liz Kendall is in a digital fistfight with Elon Musk. Last week, she called images generated by Musk's Grok AI, which have been undressing women and children, appalling and unacceptable. And Musk's response was likely a meme of a crying emoji. The UK is trying to regulate AI, but how do you regulate a guy who owns the satellites that you use to check the weather? It's like a hamster trying to give a lecture on cage safety to a grizzly bear that owns the pet shop. But hey, Starmer did sign a declaration of intent in Paris to send British military hubs to Ukraine if a peace deal is reached. Because if there's one thing the British public loves more than fixing the NHS, it's committing troops to a conflict 1,500 miles away while their own trains are cancelled because of a light frost. But I don't spare anyone, so over on to the opposition benches. We have the Conservatives. Leader Kemi Badenoch is having a week. She spent most of it trying to claim she was a net zero skeptic before Nigel Farage. It's like a hipster competition for who hated the planet first. I was into coal before it was cool, Nigel. And Kemi also came out and said Trump was morally right to overthrow the Venezuelan government. Number 10 refused to back her. And it's a great dynamic. The government is trying to be the sensible adult in the room, while the opposition is basically that one aunt on Facebook who shares patriotic AI images of eagles wearing sunglasses. And let's look at the regions. Scotland and Wales have elections coming up in May, and the Electoral Commission is terrified of deepfakes. They are piloting new software to detect them. Think about that. You now need a vibe check department to tell us if the video of the First Minister dancing the Macarena is real. And in Wales, Plaid Cymru is surging. They are on course for a massive win, and their platform? Basically, we are not Labour, we are not the Tories, and we have a very nice dragon on our flag. Honestly, in 2026, that's a winning manifesto. And in Scotland, John Swinney is defending immigration while Reform UK is breathing down his neck. It's a strange time in Edinburgh. It's so cold right now that even the pro-independence marches are moving at half speed because their kills are frozen solid. And finally, some good news for the people. Chancellor Rachel Reeves did a U-turn on business rates for pubs. Apparently, the Treasury realized that if you tax pubs out of existence, the British people will have nowhere to go to complain about the Treasury. It's a vital part of the ecosystem. But the big buzzword in Parliament last week was productivity. A report found that public sector productivity is 5.6% below pre-pandemic levels. And the government solution? More civil servants. Yeah. To fix the fact that you aren't getting enough done, you are going to hire 5,000 more people to attend meetings about why you aren't getting enough done. That is the British way. And in Kent, they had a water failure. Again. The regulator said it was foreseen and could have been stopped. That's the most British sentence I've ever heard. We knew the roof was going to fall in. We just didn't want to be rude and interrupt the rain. So, constantly looking at the UK from here in Germany, what have we learned this time? We've learned that Keir Starmer thinks nerve is a substitute for popularity. We've learned that Nigel Farage is basically the political version of a horror movie villain. You think he's gone, but then he pops up in the backseat of the poll data. And we've learned that if you want to annex a country, don't pick Greenland. Pick the UK. Nobody would notice the change in management because they'd be too busy arguing about the price of a pint. But seriously, Britain, we love you. We need you. Mostly because without your politics, our news here in Germany would just be men arrested for mowing lawn on a Sunday and new recycling bin color announced. But stay weird and stay Britain. And for God's sake, buy some salt for your roads. That's the Outside View Show UK for this week. And if you enjoyed this, please smash the like button, subscribe and hit the bell. Unlike the 8:05 to Victoria, our notifications actually arrive on time. And leave a comment. If Trump does buy Greenland, do you think he'll let the UK join as a junior island? I'm Marc, reporting from the land of the Autobahn. See you next week. Cheers.